Hi, Cal Ketchum here, Superintendent at West Valley School. So I'm going to give you a quick update on things that are happening here at the school and the coronavirus update as well. So as most of you know, the requirements, the new quarantine requirements for COVID-19 have changed. Currently, if your child is considered a close contact and has to remain quarantined, it can be as short as a 7-day time span for that. That depends upon you getting tested or having your child tested 5 days after they've been quarantined from last contact. If they, on that 5th day, if they test negative, they can come back on the 7th day of the quarantine. So that shortens it up quite a bit, which is great. If you're COVID positive, then you have to remain quarantined for the 10-day duration. Also on that, if you do test negative on the quarantine for close contact, you will need to bring in some sort of evidence that you have been tested and it came back negative. So just remember that. Changes a great deal, which is good. It's a great thing. It shortens up the quarantine time. So we're glad about that. Hey, the second thing is we applied for and received $200,000 that we can use towards technology from part of the coronavirus funds that we received from the state. Not every district in the state applied for those and got them, but we did, and we got a pretty healthy amount of $200,000, which is great. Mr. Wilson will be given a detailed description of what we're using those funds for. That was the one drawback. We didn't know until November we were getting these funds, and then they have to be spent by December 31st of this year. So we had a pretty good plan in place because we were running a tech levy. We were going to run a tech levy last year, which we pulled off at the last minute because of the coronavirus situation. That really helps out a lot, as now we are not looking at running a tech levy in the near future, although somewhere down the road, couple years down the road, that may still need to be the case. But for right now, we don't need to. So that was a real blessing, getting that extra $200,000 that we could use and apply towards technology. And we did some really great, good things. And that merchandise is already starting to come into the school, and will be able to be used. Some of it's being used right now, but mostly will be able to be used after the Christmas break. So really great things with that. Glad to get it. And it was a good, nice little surprise for us at West Valley. A couple other things. One, we will be putting out an RFQ, which is a request for qualifications to architectural groups here in the area or throughout the state, or anywhere really for that matter. And that is to be looking at some facility planning for the near future. The RFQ will go out after the board meeting on Monday. Then what will happen is those folks that would like to apply, those companies would like to apply, will put in their proposals to the school. They will be interviewed sometime probably in February, early February, and then one will be chosen to work with West Valley School to look at possibilities for new facilities and or updating the facilities here as we continue to grow, which we do and will. There's no end in sight for the growth. We'll have to look at creating new facilities here, either on site or on another location, depending upon what the steering committee comes up with. So that's where folks, if you're interested, we will be putting together a steering committee, which will probably be starting the end of February, beginning of March. Meetings to be determined, but usually we have about one meeting a month or so looking at facility planning, and we would encourage anybody who's interested in that to sign up for that. And you'll see that opportunity on our website probably after the Christmas break. We'll start to look at or into the first part of February, looking at forming in that committee and looking at future facility planning for West Valley School. So if you're interested in that, that's something that interests you, keep in mind that will be opening up sometime after the Christmas break into February, somewhere in that time frame. Next thing I want to talk about is the afternoon pickup. We want to make sure that kids are safe out there. So what we're doing is asking that if you are picking up your child in the drop-off pickup area in front of the school, that you parking along the curb is fine, as long as you pull forward as far as you can, and then make sure we have room available there for others to be able to park. Please don't block the crosswalk area, as that's where the kids will need to cross that for families that are picking them up as they park in the parking lot and walk across to pick up their kids. We do ask if you are parking and you're coming across over onto the school area there, that you still abide by the mask policy and wear the mask while you're waiting for your child, and then walk them across the crosswalk when they come out for after school. And then also, we will have 3 staff members out there in yellow vests, along with stop signs, helping children cross, because we're asking for the K-3 students in particular to either walk across with an adult or cross at the crosswalk with our crossing guards there. So just be mindful of that. It's gone pretty well, but we just want to make sure that everybody's safe crossing those crosswalks. And again, you may use the curb, that's fine to park along, but just make sure you're pulling forward as far as possible so that we can utilize as much space as we can for that area. One of the other things is AM drop-off seems to be going pretty well. Most are using pulling forward as far as possible before letting their students out. And that's any student, K through 8th grade. Please pull forward as far as possible before letting your students out, and then do it as quickly as possible so that we can keep that transition going. And it's been going pretty well. So I really want to thank you for that and doing a good job keeping that flowing pretty smoothly, considering we had quite a few drop-offs this year, and that's increasing a little bit too. And it does tend to increase a little bit as the weather changes. Kids want to be dropped off if they can be, and whatnot. So please continue to do that as well as possible, and keep that moving as quickly as we can. Lastly, we just want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and happy holiday season. I want to thank you for all you've done to keep the school open and flowing really well this year, as well as can be expected considering all of the challenges that this COVID-19 has presented. So have a great holiday, everybody, and we wish you well for the next year.